Hey everybody, it's Doom here from Dungeons and Doom Biscuits, and yesterday we talked about doing potentially a mine tile. I did some cave walls, so we're going to talk about doing a tile. So what I would do is I would get a tape measure, and I would make the edges of my tile about 3 inches wide. That way you can add a little bit of a border and cut in some areas where players cannot make through as easy, where it's a little tougher to get through. So players can stand roughly 1 inch by 1 inch apart. So what I would do is make it to where it gets more narrow at spots. You can make them any length you want. Shouldn't be too big of a deal. Cutting up old board games, they usually have some kind of coating on them that makes them kind of sturdy, so they're a good choice for something like this. And you can get old board games at thrift stores and Goodwills and such relatively inexpensively. I think I try to find ones that have some kind of miniatures or pieces I can use in them, and I think they're about $2 a pop, something like that. Now I'm just going to get a pair of scissors, a pair that I don't like so much. And just trim off a little bit of roughage so the edges aren't perfectly smooth and nice. When I say smooth and nice, I mean they're not a perfectly cut straight line. Nothing too fancy beyond that concept. So we know our edges are roughly 3 inches, so they should line up if we made all our tiles, in theory, 3 inches. Now I'm going to come back here, and I'm just going to cut off some of that loose cardboard so that it's not sticking up. Just like that. Now, you could put walls on here, but I like to use the negative space around tiles to represent the edges of the tiles. It saves a step and it makes them easier for storage. So if you want to stack these up, you could do so easily. So since we're going to do a tile here real quick, the first thing we want to do is get something underneath of this. So move it around easier. And then we want to snip the edge of this off, probably. And let's paint it with Mod Podge from there. This has Mod Podge, black, yellow, and brown in it from different projects that have kind of been mixed along while I'm working here. So using a damp brush, I'm just going to spread it around and sprinkle some paint on, or some sand on it. And the sand I'm using is not outside sand. I have dirt I could use as well, I suppose. That would work nicely. Okay, so you don't want to start your cave out with all like limited movement problems in it, right? You want it to be where they can move at normal speed right off the bat. But that doesn't mean you don't want to have transition areas where they have to move more slowly. And those would be good choke points for a fight. Let me get a styrofoam plate. Get a styrofoam plate here. And I could use dirt. I'd rather use the sand because I have a lot of it. So I'm going to get the sand. Sprinkle it on there just like that. Flip it around and do the same thing. Then I can reuse that. Okay. Now, tiles are a little easier to store if they're flat pieces of board game. So I'm gonna get a piece of what do you call it? So one of these things. I'm just gonna get a little bit of glue there and a little bit of glue there and create 2 anchor points, and I'm gonna set that on there, and that's gonna make it easy to handle from this point forward. I'm gonna get this Mod Podge water mix, and I'm gonna get it pretty wet. Hopefully I didn't go too wet with it, and I think I just did. Yeah, I went way too wet. Okay, no problem. We'll get a cup. Pardon me. Put some Mod Podge in there. Put a little bit of glue in there. You don't want to go too much with the glue. And then we'll mix this paint in there. Not all of it. Well, there's some thick in the bottom there, but let's mix this up and see what it looks like first. Okay, there we go. Okay, we're gonna need more water, or more, sorry, not water, more paint in general. So let's get that in there. Get a little bit of dark brown and a little bit of yellow. So for my dark brown, I'm just using burnt umber. And for my yellow, this is called Golden Sunset. Golden Sunset. Now I'm not going to throw this cup away because I know I'm not going to use it all, right? But what I am going to do is set it off to the side and mix more shit in as I need to get different colors. Now it's too light. I'm going to add a little teeny bit of black in there. That's okay. We'll darken that up. Sweet. Okay, and then we just want to paint it over this without trying to pull any of that off. We're just taking our time and being careful, dragging that around. Okay, just real easy, letting the natural colors of how it's not properly mixed do us a favor. Is that a spider web, you son of a bitch? Spider webs. They're the worst. Now, if you let this dry and that kind of is stuck on there better, you don't have to be as careful. But you don't want to use any pressure spreading this around, so you want it to be pretty wet. Not as wet as I had it initially, but pretty wet. This is probably good. This will probably dry just how I need it to. And since board games are made of compressed multiple layers of cardboard, and it has a coating on it, probably not have to worry too much about warping like you would if you used a regular cardboard. Even if you use, what's this stuff? I can't think what it's called. Dollar Tree foam, you're going to get some warping, and you have to put tape or something on the back, I think is what somebody told me. I don't know. I haven't done it myself. Because I just set it on something until it dries flat, you know what I mean? All right, so if we want this like choke point here to be like a cave-in or something, that's pretty easy to manufacture. Let me get a spoon. and some of this chunkier stuff. Let me get a big rock. Now, they won't stack as nice if you have kind of like bigger rocks on here. Keep that in mind. But if you want it to look like a cave-in that you can't get past, you're going to need some big rocks to pull that off. So they'd have to squeeze around that. And let's get a miniature. Just see if they can maintain the tunnel and get by. There we go. Get a little bit of chunky dirt in here. Just like that. Then I'm going to use a paintbrush to knock some of that dirt off of my big rocks. Just like that. Nothing too spectacular. Just enough to capture the effect I'm going for. We'll get some stupid glue. And we'll get that all kind of locked into place for now. Now, super glue should soak into the dirt for the most part, but it's not creating that same chemical reaction you get from baking soda. So now, we're going to level that out some, let it seep down in. And we're going to get a little baking soda on a new layer. Okay. And really, you could baking soda this whole thing if you really wanted to. I don't know if I really want to, but I could. That would make it dry a little faster for sure. No doubt it would dry faster. I don't want to waste all my baking soda, but now I feel kind of committed. I'm off camera here, hitting with the hot air gun to blow any excess off. And then I'm going to come back over here and I'm going to knock away some of that smushed up pieces of baking soda. Mush that down into it. Get rid of that. Now, if you let this dry and then paint it dark brown again, it should become kind of a rock. If you're going to do that, I would recommend being friendly to your craft and giving it some support. Because magic and kindness go a long way. Anyways, I'm Doom. This has been Dungeons and Doom Biscuit, and we just made a quick cavern or cave tile here to show you how you could do something pretty easy. Game boards, like I said, are inexpensive. I've been using the same board game board for, well, most of the series that I started doing adventures. I've been using the same exact stuff, so it lasts if you use it sparingly. I realized I don't make entire dungeon tile sets, and if you were, you might use a board game or two to do that. But I don't really use dungeon tiles, so again, it's not my preference, but I know some people love it. and some players really get a lot out of it. I use a lot of theater stuff, like I said, walls, and use the negative space to represent dungeon floor, but you could easily use tiles and use the negative space to represent walled off areas you can't access. So thank you guys very, very much for watching, and I'll come back and I'll paint this up and do a little more decor with it at some point, and then I'll post that for you. But until then, thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, share, hit the notification bell icon, leave a comment, and all the happy crappy the YouTube algorithm God's desire. Come to the website and buy some miniatures. And there's a sale going on until Valentine's Day, 40% off your first box of our monthly minis. I'm trying to figure out another sale situation right now, but it's not going easy. I can't do English or think right now. Come to the Discord and hang out with us. Anyways, I'll see you next time.